Our next question, question number 9, has been asked by the Honorable HKR Meshoe. The Honorable, the President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The report of the expert panel, which I set up into the July 2021 civil unrest, concluded, among others, things that the South African National Defence Force did not undertake any scenario planning for a possible sudden deployment, nor put in place or put in measures necessary to deploy or should they be called upon to do so. That's what the expert panel said. We should therefore welcome the SANDF's internal warning instruction of 6 August 2022 as an indication of the readiness of the security services to respond to potential unrest should it be necessary. In this instance, it was not necessary for the President to authorize the deployment of the SANDF to support the South African Police Service in managing the security situation in the country. The relevant security and law enforcement entities continue to improve their own ability to respond to criminality, as well as instability under the overall direction of the National Security Council. As indicated in the State of the Nation address, government has allocated funding for the recruitment of 12,000 new police trainees, and the first cohort is currently undergoing basic training. The South African Police Service public order policing units will receive an additional 4,000 members this financial year. The first tranche of the 2,000 new public order policing members will complete their training next month, and the next tranche of 2,000 will begin training in December. Drawing on the lessons of last year's July unrest, we are working to improve cooperation between law enforcement agencies and the private security industry in the fight against crime. An example is the collaboration between Transnet Freight Rail and South African Police Service to combat infrastructure theft and the sabotage of the rail line. This includes securing the North Rail Corridor between the Highveld Coalfields and Richards Bay, which has led to a significant reduction in crime and derailments. Earlier this month, Justice and Correctional Services Minister Ronald Lamula gave approval for Transnet security officers to be granted peace officer status. This means that they will be allowed to make arrests and assist the National Prosecuting Authority with prosecutions. They will also have the authority to search premises, complete dockets to ensure suspects are charged correctly, and assist the basic investigations. Another example of cooperation is between mine security, private security, and the South African Police Service to fight precious metal theft and illegal mining. As a result of these joint efforts, we are seeing progress in areas such as Mpumalanga and Limpopo, and also Northwest, that have been flashpoints of instability as stolen metals were moved to illicit markets abroad. Government is taking the challenge of illegal mining extremely seriously. Last week, the National Security Council held a meeting to focus on the work being done to tackle illegal mining and related crimes. The South African Police Service has established task teams to tackle illegal mining, alongside other task teams dealing with construction site extortion, copper and cable theft, and theft and vandalization of economic infrastructure. The National Security Council agreed on further action to tackle illegal mining, and that the SANDF could be called upon to support the South African Police Service should it be required. Now, together, all these efforts should steadily reduce the prevalence of criminality and combat attempts to undermine police order. However, it is important that all our security forces remain alert and ready to act if needed. But we also urge our communities through the various community structures that are in place, such as community policing for us, to be able to assist the police in the work of dealing with criminality in our country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, the President. The first supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable KRJ Meshoe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable President. The ACDP is extremely concerned about the current state of criminality in our country. Violent service delivery protests, incidents of vigilantism, abductions, kidnapping of women and children in particular are also increasing, and hijacking of residential properties have become commonplace, which is a great concern. Mr. President, when members of Operation Dudula set up roadblocks and checkpoints to stop people with darker skin who are suspected of being foreign nationals, preventing them from accessing hospitals and clinics, while the police are watching in a posture of endorsement, or when they search and demand official documents from business owners they suspect to be foreign nationals in the presence of the police, that we believe sends a negative message to the international community that South Africa is becoming a failed state where lawlessness is allowed to entrench itself and members of the public are allowed to take matters in their own hands. So what I want to know, Mr. President, while I appreciate what you said, and that there is collaboration and cooperation between different agencies of security, the issue of soldiers being involved practically to crush, to stop, and to arrest drug lords. The fight against drugs seems to be lost because there is an increasing number of children that are addicted. So I want to know, Mr. President, what should happen to show government that the matter is serious and desperate? All the plans that the president is talking about consist of things that should have been done long ago, but it's only now that government is talking about collaboration. So I want to know what has to happen to send the message of urgency or SOS to government and to the president that something needs to be done to finally stop violence in the country and make our streets safer for particularly women and children. Thank you.
I thank you, Dr. Meshoe. The Honorable, the President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to say to Honorable Meshoe, Reverend Meshoe, that indeed the message has been, well, the alarm and the call has been raised quite prominently. Many of the issues that Reverend Meshoe is alluding to, the issues of kidnapping, the issues of lawlessness, are matters that have registered and action is being taken. There has been failure, as has been admitted, and with the new invigoration that we have infused in the police, the National Commission of Police is highly alert of all these matters, together with the minister, and there's now much more of an action-oriented approach, which is going to deal with these matters. Reverend Meshoe raises, Honorable Meshoe raises the issue of bringing in the soldiers to arrest and crush all these activities. I'd like to say that the army can only be called in to support and assist the police. Process of arrest, dealing with criminality, is a function of the South African police, where we, in certain circumstances, will bring in the army. It is when they have to come in to give support, to give assistance to the police. And the police will be the ones who will lead that process. You need to remember that our soldiers are trained with a particular focus in mind. And as they come in, they have to be giving and lending support and assistance under, yes, the leadership and direction of the police. The president, in deploying the army, also has to notify Parliament, as we all know. So deploying the police, the army, is quite a serious matter. But the National Security Council, in its recent meeting, realized that there will be situations where indeed we might need to bring in the army. And when that happens, it is the president, but the president can only finally do so informing Parliament, informing the National Assembly, as well as the Council of Provinces. I think we should look at that in that context. But it's having said that, there is much more determination on the part of the police to deal with all these matters. I did say earlier that the police has set up a number of units that will be focusing on all these areas. For instance, when it comes to illegal mining, the numbers of the police who have to focus on this have been increased, and we are already beginning to see the positive effects of all this. So quite serious action is being taken in this regard. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.